Hello and welcome to another edition of Extra Connections Pride Talk here on JLJ Media as the Pride wing of this show, Extra Connections. Also I'm offering Extra Connections Race Talk that's happening also every Wednesday through July. But because it's Pride Month, every Friday we're doing this Pride Talk, Race Talk, Pride Talk. It's all important, and I'm going to continue talking about it. So my guest this week knows a little bit about Pride, knows about preserving rights. He's in Arkansas. That's where his operation is. But is producing content for around the world. One of the things that I'm in is called Tomorrow's a New Day. It's an audio drama. But I met him first through another show called Queers and Soaps. We're going to talk about all of that and the importance of digital series and audio series and series having queer characters, the whole thing with this gentleman, the mini mogul himself, Aaron D. Wallis.
Hello. Thanks for having me, James.
Welcome, 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 Aaron. So, folks at home, you guys know the drill. And yes, I will be releasing a book later this year on all my lists with all of commentary for each of my lists. The fans love my list. So, what I do, Aaron, is I read the list and you'll hear the names, you'll hear stuff. You may smile, you may laugh, you may be like, who the fuck is that? It depends. That's what everybody do at home. And this list is long. It's one of the longest lists I've ever read because in some of the cultures I come from, I'm multiracial, multicultural. Some of the cultures I come from, speaking people out loud, saying their names out loud is very important. So you'll understand as I do this, you'll know some of the names, you won't. And then afterwards, I ask you if any comments on the list and any names that stick out to you, that kind of stuff. Here we go. Somebody bear with me. I read fast. Bear with me.
Uh-oh.
Hey, my brother. Sorry. Okay. Nick Adams, Clay Aiken, Chad Allen, Brian Jordan Alvarez, Bill Botrop, Patrick Bristow, Karamo Brown, Jim J. Bullock, Titus Burgess, David Burka, Charles Bush, Dan Butler, Matt Dallas, Ant, Tim Bagley, John Barrowman, Derek Barry, Paul Bartel, Lance Bass, Brian Batt, Ben Barr, Dan Bukatinsky, Mario Cantone, Scott Capurro, Truman Capote, Gerard Carmichael, Alan Carr, Charlie Carver, Richard Chamberlain, Craig Chesser, Ken Choi, Peaches Christ, Wilson Cruz, James Daly, Lee Daniels, Sahara Davenport, Jay Davidson, Paul Dawson, Dennis Day, Tony winner, Andre D. Shields, Thomas Decker, Bianca Del Rio, Guillermo Diaz, The Great Divine, Jonathan Bennett, Christopher Burnow, Tom Beards, Matthew Balmer, Joel Kim Booster, Guy Branham, James Coco, Scott Coffey, Andy Cohen, Chris Colfer, Rick Cope, Peter Depp, and my friend Coleman Domingo, P.A. Cooley, David Drake, Lewis Edmonds, my friend Larry Hot Chocolate Edwards, Billy Eichner, Claiborne Elder, Wesley Scott Evans, Reed Ewing, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Harvey Firestein, Waylon Flowers, and Madam, Colton Ford, Daniel Francis, Connor Habib, Michael Hall, Todrick Hall, Tyler Haynes Van Hansis, the wonderful Neil Patrick Harris, Sam Harris, Colton Haynes, Hibiscus, John Benjamin Hickey, Maurice Hines, T.R. Knight, Carson Kressley, Adam Lambert, Mark Lamos, Mateo Lane, Nathan Lane, Noah Gavin, Robert Gant, Malcolm Getz, Jason Gould, John Glover, Nathan Graham, David Marshall Grant, Oscar winner Joel Gray, Jonathan Groff, Stephen Guarino, Dave Holmes, Rock Hudson, Tom Holtz, Tab Hunter, Adam Huss, Mark Indelicato, Cheyenne Jackson, Peter Mark Jacobson, Michael Jeter, Brandon Scott Jones, Leslie Jordan, Rex Lee, Riken Lemkuhl, Tom Link, Hedda Lettuce, Harvey Levin. He's a lawyer. Liberace, Roy London, James Lott Jr., Michael Lucas, Paul Lind, Lipsinka, Sean Mayer, Barry Manilow, Alec Mappa, Jasmine Masters, Johnny McGovern, Kevin McHale, Vonna Jean Merman, Wentworth Miller, James Mitchell, John Cameron Mitchell, Dennis O'Hare, Kenny Ortega, Peter Page, Ron Palelo, Sam Pancake, Jim Parsons, Miss Coco Peru, Tony Moore, my chocolate twin, David Hyde Pierce, Danny Pintaro, Ben Platt, Jack Plotnick, Patrick Ian Polk, Peter Port, the fabulous Billy Porter, Jay Rodriguez, Vincent Rodriguez III, Matt Rogers, Seth Rudetsky, and Miss RuPaul Charles. Nico Santos, Dick Sargent, Glenn Scarpelli, Mark Murphy, Jim Neighbors, Taylor Negron, and Alex Newell. DJ Quaz, Zachary Quinto, Andrew Reynolds, the late great Gene Anthony Ray from fame. Brady Bunch father Robert Reed, Charles Nelson Riley, Marcellus Reynolds, Conrad Ricamora, J. August Richards, and Mo Roca. The fabulous Shangela, Adam Shankman, Del Shores, Jonathan Slavin, Kevin Spacey, Douglas Spain, Doug Spearman, Joy Stefano. Daryl Stevens, David Ogden Stiers, Jason Stewart, George Takai, Bobby Trendy, Tony Tripoli, Tommy Toon, Michael Urey, Jim Ferreros, Bruce Valanche. Tom Villard, the wonderful King of Trash, John Waters. Tuck Watkins, Will Winko, Kit Williamson, Paul Winfield, B.D. Wong, Margaret Cho. My friend, Alex Wise, Bowen Yang, David Most, Jabuki Young Whites, and Aaron Wallis. We say those names, past, present, and current, because it's very important. So when you hear that list, anything come to mind for you? Anything make you smile, laugh? What's going on?
Oh, I love so many of those people. Like it's hard to even just Leslie Jordan though. Oh,
I know.
I'm there's just something about well shit. Like just I don't know why, but his character in Sorted Lives just really just something I just loved because it was so out there and crazy, and I love like white trash comedy like that.
Yes. I was raised with John Waters and Divine and all that. My mom turned me onto that. And they were speaking sort of like thinking Del Shores. And I'm sure for you, because you're Southern, Arkansas is in the South, you must really relate to that kind of humor and that comedy, right?
I do. I relate to a lot of the small town, like that Sorted Lives type family. That's just because I've known families like that.
Yes.
I
And Leslie Jordan kept his accent and exaggerated it many times. That's something too.
and I will Divine. I really like Divine as well. I know I don't wasn't fortunate enough to get to experience Divine, but I have some socks I got in LA that I saw them at Hollywood Hustler. It was
Oh,
downtown,
yeah.
and it was. I think they say you're beautiful or something. I still wear them all the time, and they've got Divine's picture on them. And I love when anyone's like Divine. I'm like, you know who Divine is, like. So
Yeah, a lot
uh,
of us older gays, we know Divine, especially because that's just how it is. But my mother was very much in that whole kind of grade Z movie movement. Anything trashy, she was watching it. I mean, that's part of it.
my first introduction to drag, I guess, would be probably Divine and RuPaul. When I think about it, because RuPaul was all over those '90s comedies. I love when RuPaul was in Sister Sister, Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
Yes,
the Brady Bunch movie.
yes, oh yes, yes. No, it's funny. Well, it's funny. Let's start with RuPaul because that's somebody who has had a huge career in the '90s, kind of went away for a little bit, and then Drag Race just brought her back. And it's funny because I remember, I'm a lot older than you are. So I remember when she came out the first time, I mean, drag was literally underground. Like it wasn't mainstream at all. It was, I mean, this is the 90s. She came at the right time because Clinton got in office, your buddy from Arkansas. Okay, got in office. And it was good time. Those was good times in America. We were like, here we go. Let's do this. And lesbian chic was hot. You got Katie Lang and all that. It was all hot. But RuPaul was different because RuPaul was this tall, beautiful looking woman. But it's like I'm a man. Like there was no. It was like this is a job. I put on this stuff for work. We had never seen it before, and she was so positive.
I watched a clip on YouTube or one of the sites where it was RuPaul was on an interview with Arsenio or what?
Arsenio
Oh, I
Hall.
can't remember.
Arsenio
Yes,
Hall.
yes. And Ru was talking about how no, I love, I'm perfectly fine being a man. This is just kind of like just exactly what you said. So it's so funny you said that because I just saw that today.
Oh, he said, yeah, well, no, just one of those things that just has stuck with me. I mean, like I said, I know from I ask you, but for me, I was a grown up when she came out. You were a kid when she came out. I mean, that must have affected you on some level, like, wow, this is amazing or something, right? It affected you on some level, right?
I think so. I mean, RuPaul's why I kind of love drag. Um, I've always kind of, I don't know, there's always been something about drag that's always fascinated me. I kind of would like to do drag at some point,
So
or
you've
just
never done it.
never done it. Well, I guess as a kid, I may have went out as Halloween as dressed in like as a girl, but I don't think I was not very well put together. Uh, I'm so glad there are no pictures because that does. I remember kind of. I was like, this isn't what I was expecting. Like I remember being a kid going, this was not the vision I saw, but I didn't have. I didn't have it. All
Yeah,
my cousins were either very younger or very like much older, so I didn't have anyone in between that I
yeah,
could borrow from or anything. Well, especially in the South, you aren't just going to go to and be like, "Can I borrow your dress?"
yeah, a little different. That's funny. The first time I did drag was not good either. I was like, yeah, and I dated a guy who used to dress drag queens. I'm like, I should have went to him first.
Oh wait, I just lied. I have done drag. I dressed up as Winifred Sanderson a
Okay.
few 2018. I went all. I said, no, I'm dressed up
How'd
as
you forget
Winifred.
about that? I was like, you're a
I
drag.
don't know because Winifred, like she's, yeah, we love her too. How did I forget about that? So yeah, I have done drag once then,
Yes.
but it was character drag, I guess. It wasn't like something I created
Yeah,
or.
the first. So I did. I saw. I just we had a whole drag show. So why not? I saw drag for a little bit. It's very important to our culture. Um, I did. So I did Donna Summer the first time. That's when I needed some help. But the next year, Melrose Place was huge. You'll understand this. So my friend Nick and my friend Todd and I went as the three wives of Michael Mancini. So I was Sydney, he was Jane, and homeboy was Kimberly. So we had this whole thing, and we had the matching dresses, we had the wigs, and we're like, "Money's are a bitch, money's are a bitch." As we kept saying the whole time in unison, and we were through. That's the first time I did real like I shaved and everything.
I really hope the person who did Kimberly had a wig reveal.
Oh, no,
Because
of course, yes, we did, of course, oh, of course.
you can't do Kimberly without
No,
the
of course
wig
not, of
reveal.
course not. No, because he actually had he actually put makeup where the sides were all like effed up.
Oh,
So
that's
no,
so.
no, trust me, when we went in, we went in because then 2 years later, no, 3 years later, we went as the Spice Girls. And those pictures are on the internet. I posted them. I was Scary Spice. I went to the Mac counter down in Nordstrom, and I was in San Francisco. I'm living in San Francisco. Had my makeup done. I had a big professional wig. I had the leopard pants, the platform shoes. It was, and we were photographed so much like we were the real Spice Girls. No one rivaled us. It was so weird. Then I found this one off-brand Scary Spice, and I said, "Come on in, girl. You just hang out with me for a while." She was all haggard. And I was like, "She's like, you're so beautiful." I'm like, "What happened to your costume? What's going on?" So then we hung out with her and we found like a sporty Spice. We grabbed her. She was come with us for a while. But in San Francisco back in the 90s, in the Castro, it was a huge, Halloween was a huge, the whole city shut down.
Oh, man.
Doesn't do it anymore. But
That
back in
was
the day, it
oh,
was, yeah, it shut down. It got dangerous after a while. So that's another story. But well, I should say it's another story. I should say to people out there, it got dangerous. Straight folks started coming in and punching people. My friend got punched in the face in front of me, started getting drunk and started accosting girls in drag. Just like it was so for about 10 years it was great. And then they tried to put it into a place, a civic center, like self-contained. And people started, so I don't even know anymore. It's like, but in the old days, it was on the streets, the whole city, the subways, everybody was dressed up, the drivers are dressed up. All of a sudden, I'm taking my one to work that morning, and Batman puts his head out, he's the driver, and goes back in. Like everybody would laugh, and it was just. But I want to say it was horrible that that straight folks ruined it when it was a very fun event for everyone to come to. I'll make sure I say that. I'm not gonna hide that, but I just say it. So it got ruined. So
oh, that sucks.
but back in the day, it was good. But that's what happened, right? That's why you have to have these talks and stuff because like that, like that is just it's unacceptable. And that's you come to someone's neighborhood and then fuck it all up for them. That's just
Mhm.
I had a lot of good years otherwise doing that, but it was fun. I haven't done. I last time I did drag was 2 years ago. I was my mother. And it
Oh,
was fun.
and you
Yes,
look just like her. I mean, y'all could have been sisters.
yes. I got the wigs, and there I got them. I shaved my. I did the whole thing. And my mother was like, "Is that me?" Like I remember sending a picture to people. My aunt, she was like, "Your mom lost some weight." I go, "That's me." And she's like, "That." Oh, I was like, "Oh my god!" It looked close. That is you. Like even my mother was like, "Is that me?" I go, "No, that's me." It's
I
like
am
it's
pretty
me. It's
sure I
me.
would look just like my mom if I did drag.
See?
I'm
There
pretty
you
sure.
go. Okay. So anyway, so that's fun. Yeah. So RuPaul was somebody to, and now RuPaul's the most. She's won the most Emmys for any person of color ever.
Hmm.
It's like just like see, just goes to show when you're authentic in yourself, and there's exceptions. When you start, we want to go back for you. When you started, when you co-started, I should say co-started. I mentioned Tommy Figueroa. When we co-started, when I first met you, the Queers and Soaps. When you look back on that next, I know now he's continuing it and doing it himself, whatever. But when you guys started, I asked you the question. When the first one I asked you was how 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 brave you guys were just to say we're queer. I mean, everything's queer now, but it's like back then it felt like nobody else was doing it really. When you look back on that, do you really understand that that was really very bold of you guys to do that?
No, it's weird because I think I'm at that age where I grew up without social media, but then also had social media like
Okay,
towards, you
yeah.
know, MySpace and that.
MySpace.
So I didn't have MySpace because I don't know,
Didn't.
I had one, but I didn't use it. I was so afraid of putting stuff on the internet. I was one of those kids that when you were like, "Be careful, stranger danger," I listened.
You have your
I
top
was
eight.
always
I was always changing my top eight. I'm like, I hate you. Now you're on my top eight.
I
Yes.
remember going on there though. I would go on MySpace and you could used to look for people. And I remember being so terrified when I would select looking for like gay because I was just like, oh my gosh, what if someone finds out I'm wanting to see it. I think I was trying to find someone that I could talk to and be friends with because I didn't have anyone in well that I knew of.
Yeah.
Now, people have come out the closet since then.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
But I just remember going, oh, like being terrified of just even looking at all the different gay people in my area or try. Well, there wasn't many.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure.
um, but yeah, but naming it like I didn't even dawn on me. Maybe it's because I've been called queer, fag, different types of things that it's kind of lost that like knife in the gut type of feeling. Um, I mean, once you've been called queer as someone's or fag while someone's driving by, you're kind of like, huh, okay. I always think of Jack McFarlane when he's like, all in a day.
Except that one episode that was so, oh my God. Okay, so side note, folks, Will and Jack, the actors, have a show, a podcast. And they're going over every episode. And they got to that episode. I was curious what they thought about that because there's an episode where Will says he's such a fag and walks off to Grace and he hears it. And it was like they have this we talk about there. Later have this like they have this talk. And it was such a powerful episode to me. It was like because it's a word that we may say with each other here and there, but he said it, but Will meant it actually in a derogatory term, and he's gay himself.
Now, if someone I knew said it to me like that, I would be offended and hurt. But if someone I don't even know
Yeah,
says it to me, I'm just like,
yeah.
you
It's just
know me.
low hanging fruit. Just low hanging.
Clearly, you need Jesus. No,
Yes, it's like low hanging fruit. Of course,
yeah,
I'm saying that.
it's
Like,
like I'm just like, oh my God, you think I'm gay? Thank you, because now I'm proud of it and I
right,
want to show it.
right. Well, I guess I'm just saying, for me to name a show Queer and Soaps and to promote it out there, I just thought I thought it was kind of brave. I think it's just good. And obviously, it's lasted, it's fine, but there's more queer things out there now. I see since yours.
Well, it wasn't originally that we wanted Gossip Gays.
Yes,
But Gossip Gays were take someone beat us to
of
it,
course they did. Of course,
and we just pitched around queer, and we kind of did like, do we think people are gonna like be mad at us? But we're like, we don't. It's not in a mean
yeah,
spirited way. It's just we're two queers who like soaps, So that's what we gonna name it. And
But I know for me, my generation, it's a hard word for us.
yeah, oh, I know if I say certain words like my mom or people,
Okay,
they're like, oh, I'm like, it's okay. It's so,
right,
yeah. Now, there are some words you can never say, and you know what those words are.
yeah,
But
right.
yeah,
It's
I
a
wanted, I wanted to reclaim it too, because I remember being scared to anyone pick out my differences. I remember growing up always scared, like, oh, this person, if I wear this, are they going to think I'm gay? If I wear this, will they think I remember many, many times thinking, okay, will this outfit get me attention in a negative way?
not my generation, right before yours, it was the earrings at first. You had earring in the left ear, it meant this, or earring in this ear. If you had two earrings or a dangling earring, or say, I'm like, it's so, you look back, it's so ridiculous. Like, it's so ridiculous.
It's funny you mentioned because how we in the South we don't catch up to things like that right away. So as I was growing up, we finally heard about the earring
Oh,
thing.
okay. Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
I remember people talking about, oh, his earrings in his right ear. You know what
Yes.
that means? And they would,
Right.
and
Exactly.
I'm just like, I I'm not a fan of that. Like, I'm just like, because oh, I remember the hand. I forgot all about the hand thing. I
Is
blocked
that,
it
is that,
out.
is that
Now.
funny? Right. It was like lip wrists, like, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was folks. That was derogatory too. That was a derogatory thing. Say he's a sissy or he's a this, and like that's
I remember in high school went to a football game, which totally unusual for me. But my cousin was a cheerleader, so we would go and sometimes cheer her on. There was a male on the dance team, and the people behind me were just like, I bet his daddy's proud. And it was just, I was like, yep, and I always wanted to be a cheerleader. That was my dream. I just wanted to be a cheerleader.
for sexy and cute and popular to boot.
I still know that cheer.
So do I. So do I. Look at people. I know I do too.
But I just remember like hearing that, I was just like, man, like,
So you guys didn't have male cheerleaders in your high school? Those are South, isn't it? Because we had male cheerleaders. No big deal. We had male cheerleaders.
some schools did, but if you saw a male cheerleader on another, like it was talked about even, yeah, it's like
That's
you see
crazy.
they used to, we in high school we played an all boys school, and the jokes that would come with those type of things. So
Wow.
yeah,
We had male
that's
cheerleaders. I mean, they were the ones who did all the heavy lift. They did a lot. They did a lot. We just kind of, and there were some jokes made out of sometimes, but a lot of them were very athletic. So they could take it. So I don't know.
it might be different now, but our cheerleaders didn't always do a ton of tumbling either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's different now. I feel like my nieces all
yeah, it's got to be different now. I know, especially in colleges, like
yeah, yeah.
the colleges, there are a ton of male cheerleaders. I'm not sure if my local high school has male cheerleaders yet, but I know the bigger schools like probably Little Rock, where
Oh,
I'm at, Conway, would probably have at least one, no problem.
that's so crazy.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was in school, if another team was on the visitor side and there was a male cheerleader, you could always probably hear someone talking about it.
Did you ever see Small Town Gay Boy, the documentary?
Now I feel like I lived it though. No.
No, you probably know. Yeah, that's what I'm just everything you're saying. I mean, it's folks. If you have not seen it, I forgot. They came out in the 2000s. I can't remember. And I think one of the places is probably not far from you. I'm sure, but it was eye opening for me. I came from big cities, New York, LA. Also, it was like just there were gays everywhere. It was interesting that they were saying that there was these little gay communities. And it was before I started traveling across the country, and I started going to towns where the gay bar was on the other side of the train tracks in a part of town that was industrial, and there was a little tiny gay flag in the corner. So I knew it was gay. Before I started doing that, before I saw those in person. But I just wonder if I think you should check it out. If you get a chance to check it out, I think it's very. Well, or maybe not because maybe you did live it. I think it's just very interesting.
It's a lot of our clubs. We have a few clubs that are more bigger now, but when I first started going to, I didn't go to my first club till I was 25. I
Oh
was a
wow.
late, I was a late baby bloomer.
Okay.
And I remember in 2012, we went on a whole family vacation. We went to New Orleans,
Okay.
and stayed as a group. I was still very timid. But one of my cousins who he's cousin by marriage, so I don't have to claim him. Uh, he's he's homophobic. No
Okay.
other way.
Okay.
As we're walking down the street, we're passing they've got their little child, and we're passing all these signs that have, females that are pretty much
Oh, I'm
stripped,
sure. Oh, I'm
all
sure.
the
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
it's
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans,
Yeah.
and no judgment there. But as soon as he saw a rainbow flag, he's like, "Oh, we can't go any farther. That's where the gay sign is." I was just like, "Oh, but I want to go." And I'd come out to my mom by that point, but the rest of the family didn't really know. So she's like, we wanted to, we're fine with going, but we didn't get to go because the whole family is a family vacation. But I was 25 when that happened. 26 when that happened.
Wow.
So that was,
Late bloomers sometimes. I was early everything. So I was looking at it, I was trying everything. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? But yeah, some people, you just, when you're ready, is that they say maybe 25, 30 years old and maybe 21, who knows?
I was just scared. And plus we didn't have, well, we still don't have good sex education. So I was very much, we still live in a time,
Yeah, you're governor.
uh, well, a stigma when it comes to like HIV and AIDS. It was like, if you get HIV, that's it, you're done.
Dang.
But still, there's so much stigma around here that goes to that.
Wow. Today? Still
I, I,
today?
I have a friend who his mom would not drink from the same cup as him because and
Okay.
I now I work somewhere where I work for a nonprofit where we promote, testing and getting on PrEP and all those things. And I love that I'm helping make a difference on something that scared me forever. Because in eighth grade, I remember my eighth grade health teacher was just pretty much the age, just the chapter, I think it was 12. Because and the big O word's AIDS. And pretty much a football coach is my teacher telling us, oh, well, you get it, you're gonna die. And that scared me from ever having sex for the longest time. I like because all you heard about was just
Now imagine 10, 15 years earlier when that was the truth. That was my I was 15 80 in 84 and everyone was dying around me. We couldn't stop it. And it was like that. I mean, scared how I mean, I was like,
oh,
I ain't doing
yeah.
nothing with nobody. I'm just gonna sit here and watch porn or something. I don't know what I was gonna do. I was like, I'm not gonna read porn magazines. I was like, no, it was, I mean, so just imagine before that too, and you're like, and back then it was a death sentence. But then like I said, by the 90s though, there were things and there was prevention. And by 2000s, especially, I mean so for
Now,
me, it's hard for me to hear that it's still in some parts of this country, which is not surprising, I guess, that they're
no,
just
and where I live, it's it's a bigger community. I say our claim to fame in Conway is Chris Allen and Simone from RuPaul's Drag Race.
okay, okay,
That's she's from here.
okay. And Chris Allen, how funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just
know.
I mentioned them.
Yeah. But that's it. I just think that's just and that just what it goes to that's what we have this pride talk. What it goes to show is that there's more work to be done. I was an activist back then, so I was always pushing for sex education for straight and gay people when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just learned starting to work where I work that hepatitis C is curable.
Yeah,
Like there's still a lot of people around here that thinks it's not, and it's a sexual disease, and it's not. It's
well,
not.
they don't even know there's different types of hepatitis, though. Some people don't even know that. There's A, B, C. They don't even know there's different. One's from food. One's can be sexually with some sexually transmission. I guess there's different kinds. You're right. They don't even know that either.
That's why I'm just like, well, yeah, of course, Arkansas is lower down on the education. We don't seem to know a whole lot.
So you've
I
had
mean, there's a lot of good things about Arkansas. There are good things about
right,
Arkansas. We have a lot of great people who are working to make a difference,
good.
but there's still just those people like the governor,
Yes, your
um,
governor. Oh,
who
home.
makes it really hard to be better. here.
But my thing is for you, because you still live there and you've had a taste of outside of it. You've been to California, you've been to New York too, right?
Yes.
So you've done the coast, you've been on the coast, you visit well twice in California, you've done California twice, no, they're like coast. So you've seen a bigger side, more open side. You haven't been to San Francisco yet, have you? No.
I haven't, no.
And that's I think that'll be your I think once you go to San Francisco, you'll be like, I'm leaving Arkansas. I think it's so gay that straight folks are gay. I mean, that's just our joke. It's like everybody's just
Well, I think, and I'm sure a lot of gay people around here can relate. We're tied here financially
yeah, I know.
because we can't, like, what we get paid, and even with a master's degree, is not what a lot of people get paid. So it's rent's still expensive, even though I know in LA rent is still a whole lot more expensive, and people would be like, "Oh, I'd kill for your rent, Aaron. I'd kill for it."
Yeah.
For us, though, it's expensive based on how much we make, and it's just because I would love to move away and go somewhere and try something different. Because the one time I did move away, I moved to a smaller town, southern Arkansas, and I was just like, I'm being punished. What did I do? It was like, what did I do? Who do I need to make amends to? I'm moving to a town who doesn't have a Target, doesn't have a coffee shop.
Wow.
Yeah, it was my first job out of college, and it was one of those things where you just kind of had
Yeah,
to.
oh no, I get it. I get it. You gotta take what you get. Yeah,
So, and I was there. Sadly, I was there for 5.5 years. I don't know how.
it goes by fast. It goes by really
Yeah.
fast. So I mean, okay, so you had a show called Careers and Soaps. It's still out there. Shout out to them; they're doing their thing. But you decided, okay, I'm going to go into my archives
Mhm.
and pull out a script that I was working on years ago, and I'm going to bring it to life. Um, now, I think when we talked about it back in the day, um, that you did it a long time ago, but you pulled it out because myself and others started doing these audio dramas. Is that true? Inspired you to say let's get out there and put our own stink on it.
I we didn't call it an audio drama when I did it around 2009.
Yeah,
We called it radio theater. Um, a professor I had was really into theater, and he was a writer. And one of the ways he could bring his scripts to life was he would cast the students in the productions, and then they would play on the college radio station. Well, he knew I love soap operas. So he said, would you be interested in doing like so many episodes? I was like, sure, I would love to. Um, little like because it was out of my comfort zone, but something I always wanted to do. And I actually had written like characters and everything for a different soap opera, but I was like, no, I'm going to save this one for when I get to Hollywood one day. Back then I was still a big dreamer.
He's still happy. You never know. It's still happening. You never know.
Financial stuff. I mean, we get in the gates. So
Yeah.
never, but I did that. I was like, no, what? I'll create something new so I can save this juicy drama for later. I don't think it's as juicy as I thought it was.
You change after a while. You do change as a person after a while.
Yeah, I wrote that when I was like 16 in high school.
Oh yeah.
Staying away from I still have this little booklet. It's actually right over there. I would just come with character names, descriptions, write what their storylines would be, and I would save it in my little notebook that I carried with me everywhere in case I got an idea. But so I wrote the scripts, we casted, and then we did everything, put it out there, and we talked about doing a second season. But then, this weird thing that happens when after 4 years of college, you graduate.
Oh yeah.
And
you left. Like I left.
and I left. And it was not something I kind of knew how to do on my own per se. So then let's fast forward to 2021 is when I think we started doing Queers and Soaps then. And then that's when you found us and started talking to us. And then I was looking at your content, seeing that you had been working on this show called Forever and a Day. And I was like, and at that point, though, I had decided to take that show and take those scripts and do it like a text-based soap. And I did the whole first season as like that. I took them down as soon as I decided I wanted to.
Oh yes.
other people. I was like, know what? If they're doing it, why can't I do it? I
It
got
makes me
these.
that makes me happy. I'm glad we inspired other people to start
I
their.
was like, I got these 2 degrees
Yeah,
in this area.
yeah,
I'm always saying, man, I could do this. Why am I not doing it?
right.
Because I always thought, oh, I come from a video background because I was a broadcast major and was going to work in television and everything. I always thought I had to do it on film.
That's
And then
natural.
I and then I started seeing other people. I was like, you know what? That's really smart. It's costing you nothing.
Mhm. Location shoots. No, like nothing. I
As
mean,
many characters as you want. Like my
right,
funeral, like if I have a funeral on that show, 4 people, I get to have more than 4 people because
right,
low budget.
right.
And that's kind of I saw what y'all were doing, and then I did not even realize that bigger studios were doing it too. Dark Shadows has been doing it for a while, and now a lot of actors or production companies are.
Yes, they are. And I just want to say, side note, my second season of Forever and a Day beats people like Lisa Kudrow and Paul Rudd. We won Best
which
Ensemble.
which
Okay.
is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, and I'm not afraid to say, seeing what y'all were doing told me it was like I could do that.
And that's why I
So I
said you dust off the script you had. So I want folks to realize you already had this script. It's
yes,
not. It was not something makes me distinct. It wasn't a cut. He was inspired by us doing it, but he
yeah,
already had stuff written that
oh
he.
yeah. If you listen to the original 4 episodes, which I will never let anyone do because I was a new writer then, I didn't have
Yes.
anyone proofreading or going over a story, and when I listened back to some of them, I was like loophole or plot hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that's why I had taken those scripts and written them as like kind of like the text-based soaps do. I was going to do that and release them in a blog type style.
Yeah.
But then I took those scripts and turned them into the audio scripts. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do 10 minutes at least, because to me, that's a good
Yeah.
for my level of time commitment at
Oh
the
yeah.
time.
Yeah. We
Because
are
they are,
we are working at the same time.
yeah, they are very time consuming if you're doing them right and with good people.
Yes.
So
So,
the
folks,
first,
for a second. So, folks, I want you to know. So, he started doing it. He was doing it himself, and then he asked me to be in for one of the roles. I'm going to promote this also. That's why we're also on here. So, I play Richard Donovan on this. I'm a bad person. I love it, and it's fun. But you got to become on that one as a character. So, I'm a character on. So, folks, if you're like, what's going on? Tomorrow's New Day is out there, and I'm on as a character. So, I just want to make sure people know that I'm connected. Now, I didn't produce this or anything. It's all him and his people. I'm just on it as an actor on that one. I have my audio dramas over here that I produce and write, but I get to go over here and just play and not have to worry about nothing. I love it.
you and Rick as husbands, comedy gold.
Yeah. Oh, Rick Clifton, that's my man, my honey lamb. Yes, we have a great time. The thing that I think was fun, and you're like me as a director and producer. I always tell my, and you worked with me too. He was also my Fairview Heights special. I should say that he was my Fairview Heights special. That people love that special. It was really good. That was my gay. That's my gay show. But no, it's you're like me. We're kind of. I always say I am not married to my scripts. I'm engaged to them.
Mhm.
Just meaning that if we get together when you're in, well, I say in person in quotes, when we get together on the Zooms, there's a different energy and it's a different thing, and something good could really come out of it, whether it's from you or it's from Rick or it's from me or it's from Mia or it's from anybody. Something good come out of it, and I would never want to shut that down if it
Oh
still
no,
accomplishes. Please.
I am very much. I heard Sophia Bush say this, and I think she got it from somewhere else. So it's just continuing on down. The best idea always wins.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Uh, y'all will like we will write something, and sometimes though when I'm writing, I'm just like, you know what? I may not put 100% in this because I know Rick and James will make it 110% better than what that was
Yes,
going to be. So I'm just like, let's just give a little bit.
yes. A guideline. A guide.
Yes. Uh, but when I started doing this show, I just knew the original scripts, there were no gay people. There were no LGBTQ representation. And one reason I lost the drive for doing a second season way back when was when I had mentioned making a character gay, which is the character I play. It's so,
Oh, funny.
uh, like that's one character that did come over from the season 2 that I was kind of working on. Because I didn't use any of those scripts for what content we're working on. I created all new because new ideas came.
Yeah.
But that character did come through. And I remember just my professor being like, well, we can allude to him being gay, but because of the administration at the college, they may not be too. I was like, it is a fucking college radio station. They ain't listening.
Right, exactly. Yes.
I mean, they are not listening.
Right.
This is for the students, not the administration. But I was like, okay, fine. And I just lost that drive.
Yeah.
So when I come back, like I made Sawyer was gay, I made Drake bisexual. We have, to me, I think one of our first interracial married super villain gay couple.
I think so. It's
Sutton.
so. I want to say on a side note too. It's so funny that the public has taken to us, and taken to Sutton, Rick's character, very much. And you did a poll on Twitter a while back, and I remember looking at it. I was like, wait a minute, I'm in the lead at first, but then but Rick was not far behind, and he ended up winning. I was a second. It was fine. I mean, I was fine being second to him, but I was like, so they like our character. Like, the other characters were far behind. They didn't do it in that Twitter poll. And then he won an award in something other than his Flicks thing, in this award show. So they've taken to your gay villains, apparently.
They have, and I'm so excited because Rick's not, or well, Sutton is.
He's a crazy character, first of all.
He's kind of like our Sheila in a sense.
Yes, so much going on with him. There's so much going on with him.
And when we get the backstory to it, that's the only downside to only having 10 minutes is we don't get as much of the backstory sometimes as we want to get. So there are some things I want to do where we get more backstories about why Sutton
We've talked about it,
is the way they are, or how Richard and Sutton came together, because he pulled Richard in just really fast, I
said, sure. He changed it. Oh. Well, folks, if you listen to the show, there's some major things that happened on there. I want you to go run and listen to it. His storyline is cuckoo crazy, and my character sticks by him. And I don't want to give it away because I want you guys, folks, my audience who has not listened, when you find out what he does, you'll be like, what the F? And Richard stands by him. That's what, so there must be a deep love or codependence. I don't know what it is either. And I don't know what it is. We play it like we love each other, but I'm saying I don't know what it is. Something, you created something very juicy that can be explored.
Well, I've got to add, y'all brought more life to it than I think was originally written. Like, it's crazy how that happens. Because Sutton could have very much, and even Richard, been very much just typical villain, like, okay, but there's more. Y'all are like an onion that you're peeling it.
And very fun. We're villains that have fun with it. Like, we're just like, we're bothered by everybody and they just all bug us. We love our daughter, but everybody else bugs the crap out of us. We love each other for some reason. We do. And so we just we do it. We're like, okay, we're going to do this now. No, we're going to do this now. We're going to do this now. And it's just all smart ass remarks, which makes it funny.
In a way, y'all could kind of be the gay Bonnie and Clyde.
Right. That's kind of how I felt. I do. Well, see, I took it as, and Rick and I talked about this off mic before. I feel like it's us against the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like it's the Donovans. The Donovans, it's us, that's everybody else. And we want what we want because we want a bigger, broader, better life. That's what our goal is. So it's a little crazy how we're getting there, but that's our end game is that. So we're willing to get down and dirty and then talk shit about getting down and dirty, because we have some scenes that are hilarious about the sheets and stuff. That was kind of fun. We were doing that time. Like, there's just things that we're in it. But like, he and I were talking one day, we were just like, but it's us against everybody else. That's how we view it. It's like we feel like we're right. We want what we want, and we're gonna get it.
Well, and something I wanted to do was, I remember watching all these soaps, and anytime they've met, like you had gay characters, they didn't get to be the
Nope.
villain, or they had to be there for that after school special of, oh, you're coming out, or this is happening to you. It's like, no, I want to. Richard and Sutton are not weak. They will.
Kind of bitch.
Yeah, we'll just say that.
Yeah, they will.
But they're just like anyone. They have things they love, people they love, but then there are people that are just expendable.
Oh yeah. Oh well. That's how we look at it. Oh well.
That's something I wanted to create gay villains or any different types of villains. They don't have to just be gay.
Right.
And I wanted to create just. I never want their storylines to be like, oh, they're gay. That's why we're having to do that.
Right. No, our characters. No, it's funny is our characters could have been two straight best friends, could have been two brothers, like whatever. I think it translates, period. But the fact they're gay, we actually have more fun with it, with the honey lambs and the hubbies, all stuff, and
that's something you brought to it. That honey lamb was not in that script. You said it, I think, once, and we were just like, we love it, keep it.
You guys did. I said it. You
Don't change it.
Yes, he likes something honey lamb. But that's the whole thing is that it's, again, they happen to be gay, which again, it's important. I'm talking about pride talk. It's important, representation. However, my Fairview Heights is a gay character who is kind of a villain also. So and I was like you, I was like, because most gay characters were so super sweet. They had to be the good person. Like Stephen like Carrington was the good guy. Like, that's fine. And I get for that time period in the 80s, I totally get it. No, and Madame Rosecrans couldn't be anything but a good guy. They never let him do anything bad. So it's kind of like, yeah, we need some people who are just like, them being gay is like fifth or sixth down the thing, but it's important down the thing. But over here is their villains first, who happen to be gay. So watch them be villains, and then the gay parts will come out. And I think that's something that I love it.
I know plenty of gay people that are not always pleasant.
Where's my tea? Where's my tea?
I have been. Yeah, people.
Yeah, exactly. Shady. What's this Tuesday? Shady Tuesday. Yeah, I'm like,
But another thing I wanted to do is behind, like, when I first cast it, and I got some negative feedback when I first did my casting because, how do I put it? We were very white.
Yeah, there's that too. Yes.
And it wasn't from lack of trying. I did an open casting call, and I would have taken anyone, and we would have worked the story around.
Of course,
because Drake was not originally from Australia.
Oh, right, that's from Australia. Yeah.
But I had exactly enough people for the main characters. If one person would have dropped out, I would have been like, well, am I cutting a character? Like, what am I doing? Because it was very much when I first started, it was just me doing the directing, and we have grown so much from just that first look, the way we sound and just.
Oh, yes, it's too.
Yes. But I remember I was like, look, I had some people come to my defense. They're like, it's not from lack of trying. It's not, he's willing to,
Yeah.
So I went through my list of like people I knew that were, one, talented, and two, because I didn't want to just create a character who was Black just so I could feel that token Black.
You don't want that either.
No, that's not representation. That's just
tokenism.
Yes. And then I remembered this girl who, when I worked at the university I worked for, she was president of all these different organizations. She was homecoming queen. Someone I absolutely love. Like, if my camera was on her, she was posing so she could, and I was like, oh, Mia. I was like, oh my gosh, Mia. So I just reached out to Mia. I was like, you can totally say no, because I know acting isn't anything you've done before, but a lot of our cast members haven't really done acting, so you'll fit right in. We're learning, we're growing, we're having fun. And luckily she said yes. And by that point, I had met you too. So I was like, I can give Mia, like, create this family.
Good.
And that's kind of how she's introduced me to someone who might help expand that family down the line. And I'm so excited
Yeah, like this.
because representation is very important to me. I know I focus a little on the gay characters a little first, but I'm also very, when it comes to writing characters, like I would love to have a transgender person come on my show, but I want them to be someone who can help me write that character because I don't know what it means to be trans. I haven't experienced that, and I just I can't bring to it what needs to be brought to it. So that's I'm always looking for people who can want to be a part of it. Like our number one thing is you like you don't have to like soaps, but you like drama and you want to be part of something fun. Because a lot of my actors will say, like, this is my favorite part of the week when we record. I'm just like, oh, thanks, me too. Because I just love laughing with all of you. Anytime there's content that I put like extra, it's because I just had so much fun doing it. I was like, okay, I got to share this moment that just brought us so much joy. Whether we're saying something weird or crazy and put it out there.
Same here. And I just want to say, because we are talking about this content creation, I come from radio, so for my thing, this is right up my alley. I had my first radio show in 2015, 2014. So I love radio. I grew up with radio. So that whole thing and the old radio shows of the 40s and 50s, I remember hearing those from my grandmother and stuff. So like you, I was like, and then audiobooks. I mean, my mother was she used to have the cassettes. She used to always listen to like Stephen King and all these things. And I'm like, so it's always something in my brain too. And so now I have over 18 audio dramas and comedies.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how I do it either. I'm recording 4 separate series right now. So it's really crazy. But like you said, it's fun because you don't rely on visual cues and visual props. You can't, it's all audio. You can punch things up later in post. I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's a lot of work. And for us, I'm glad that we were part of the new wave because we had to figure out, it was during the pandemic, folks, when we started in 2020, how to do this because we couldn't get together. I mean, especially in LA, we were locked down, so we couldn't get together. So we're like, Skype, Microsoft Teams. Like we tried a bunch of things that didn't really work, and Zoom came to our rescue. Zoom, StreamYard, there's a few others now that you can do stuff with. But back then there really was. It was just kind of like, what do we do? And Zoom was the one. It was even before StreamYard. It was like Zoom in 2020. It was Zoom or Skype. It was one of those two. We had tried Skype, just didn't work.
I professionally, the office before I kind of left that small town, we had like 30 people that worked remotely. So we were already doing virtual meetings, all different kinds of things. So when we swapped to that, everyone was like, well, oh my God. I'm like, it's possible. Totally. Yeah. And
it worked.
And I'll add, I know some people probably wonder, like, why did he leave Queer and Soaps? And it wasn't because there was any conflict between Tommy and I.
Please clear. Yeah, this looks so. Yeah,
because I'm sure some people would probably think, oh, there's some problem. There weren't. No, my grandmother had passed away that February, and then the writer's strike happened and everything. And I just made me reevaluate some things. And I found out, like, while I do still love soaps, some Twitter stuff has ruined soaps. I'm sure you can.
Yes. Oh, I know. I'm fully immersed. I know. Trust me, I know.
I'm all for the passion, but it's when it gets to that negativity and all of that that's just not me. And just the passion for reviewing soaps had kind of, the flame was going out.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was time for me to I knew Tommy could keep it going. He'd have fun. He's got other friends that are on there and they're doing great. I still check out what they're doing occasionally. Because when you content creator, you don't get to listen and watch all the things you want to.
You don't.
The one show I never miss is my show. And that's just because I'm editing it.
Right. All right.
But yeah, there was no ill will, and who knows, maybe one day he'll invite me on just to do some kind of recap show. I don't know, because I don't know what he's got planned.
Yeah, but well, I'm glad for Tommy though. I'm glad he wanted to continue it, and he's really taking it. I
mean, his boyfriend is the narrator of Tomorrow's New Day, and
my favorite.
Other thing I wanted is when like Greg is a gay man, but his character is a straight man. Like there's no like I don't care what you identify as. You if you can bring that character to life the way it needs to be, then that's your part.
Oh, I love his voice. I just love his voice. I love Greg.
I know there's something about his voice. I'm just like, you can't leave, Greg.
He's got. No, I love Greg, man. I got to meet all you guys in person. He's my age, so we can relate on that level. And he's so New York. I love it. But his Lewis is just. I mean, I want people to just. If you have not heard of this, I've been promoting it recently because all the things that have been on, and people are like, "What's this, James?" So your new promotions are working. Your new promotions are working.
I got the greatest compliment with the new promotional material that I don't know who it is. They were commenting on someone else's shared status. I was like, where can I watch this? I was like, you think it's an actual show? Yes.
Oh, yes, they do. People, no, I'm telling you, no, your new promotional stuff is working because I mean, people might be like, "What are you on? What's going on?" Because I have another show that's been expanded called Studio City with Sean Kanan. We just expanded to Tubi and Roku channel. So I'm being tagged in two different things right now. And they're like, "But James, I thought you were a producer." I am. I just did these two projects where I was just an actor. I'm not an actor. I just play on TV now. And it's and audio dramas. No, I'm like, so it's really funny for me that right now you both hit at the same time, and so I'm being tagged and I'm sharing. I'm like, oh, they're like, it makes me look good. So thank you guys. I'm like, they're thinking, what is James doing? I'm like, I just have two projects that have good marketing right now. They just change their marketing. I'm like,
and that was another reason I had to kind of say goodbye to Queers and Soaps is because I have two podcasts. And when you're social media editing, promotion, all that, it's a lot of work.
yes,
and
it
and
is.
a lot of soaps are air five days a week, no
Yes.
matter, So it was a lot. It's a lot being a content creator, but it's
But
fun.
let me ask you that. I mean, as we start to, I'm starting to wrap this up. We've already been an hour already. I can start to wrap this up.
Oh wow. I
But
love talking to you. So
I
it's
don't
always
say that. I can talk forever. Okay. But as you've been doing this now for 3 or 4 years, this portion of this, um, what is one thing you've learned about yourself?
Ooh. That all those times when I was told I could not do something, which is probably the reason I started so late on trying to do like independent projects because I always thought I didn't have what it takes. I was scared to let anyone read anything. I was scared to let anyone comment or critique anything because I was afraid of how, like, what they would say. Um, you're a lot stronger than I thought I was. Because now I can get feedback from people. I'm just like, oh, they don't mean it in like a negative way. They want to make it better or help me improve. And I just think learning how to take criticism better has been
Yeah.
something about myself and not responding to certain criticism.
Yes.
Because I've had certain criticism, and I'll just be honest, about Tomorrow's a New Day,
Yeah.
and I had to learn not to respond to it. Just
Yeah.
be like, no, what they think, just let them think what they think.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep doing what I do,
Yeah.
keep having fun, because that's all that matters. What they think is not gonna, it's not gonna stop Tomorrow's a New Day from happening.
No.
And there's no reason to have drama. There's enough room for everybody.
There really is, and I tell people all the time, I do things the way I want to do them. So the product, I can stand by my product that I put out there. Nothing is perfect. You do my first show, my first Forever Days were not the greatest compared to how they are now. Or my first Mr. Rose, not the greatest that they are. I mean, we had to learn. We were figuring it out.
Oh,
We were just like, let's put out product, and folks ate it up because it was something different. Was it perfect? Were a couple things off? Now I know how to edit better. Now I know how to add it. Like it's called life. You just learn better as you go along.
I have the perfectionist in me because I've had that my entire life. And a lot of people do because you want what you create to be perfect. And any actor that they could make something tomorrow and be like, oh, it's the best thing ever. And then 10 years later, they're going to be like, oh, I wish I would have done this.
Yes, of course.
I want to go back and re-edit the first 15 episodes so bad. But Rick is like, it's done.
It's done. Exactly.
To go. I'm like, but what if? I'm like, he's like, no, it's done. let it go.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
very right about that.
because there are just I love this world I've created
Yes.
and I want it to be perfect.
Yes,
Like
there's such thing as perfection.
I
My thing
know.
is, those episodes, my early episodes, just show what the growth I have. It just shows what the growth I've done since then. It's like they're still pretty good, and they get to the point. But now it's season 2 or season 3 of some shows. It's really good. Now we got it down, and now the characters, as you know this too. Now they're it. Like when I did season 2 of Mr. Road or season 2 of Email, they knew their characters now. Like now they're comfortable. It just happens. And TV shows are the same way. You look at some TV shows, they don't go back and re-edit the first season. The first season now, like Rick said, it's done. The season is done,
I
been
know.
done,
Well,
did. Leave it alone.
Johnny just called his grandpa Uncle Roman the other day, I'm told. So I haven't been watching days because I've like what
Yeah.
I've heard is just I'm just like, know what?
Yes.
If the people who loved it so much are complaining that much, even more so than they normally do, maybe I should hold off on watching my favorite soap right now.
Yeah. At the time too. But yes, but the whole point is, and see, I'm an assembly line. I'm like, my people know we don't do 20 takes. It's just 2 takes, got it next. We want to the next one. I'm just like, keep it going. I'll work it all out. So everybody has their style. But the whole point is your original intention is out there. The intention of what you want to put out is out there. And you can look back at it and chuckle and cringe or whatever and have some fun with it, but have fun with it and just go. And now this new season, this latest season is the best because it is the best of where you are now. It's that.
It really is. The actors know their characters
Yes.
so
Yes.
much more than now when we write for them,
Same here. I write to them.
I write to their like Chantel is an amazing screamer.
Sorry for screaming.
If you heard in the like
Yes.
episode 30, our season finale, season 2,
Yes.
she screamed. Here's a side here. This is fun behind the scenes knowledge. Season 2 was supposed to have 16 episodes.
Yes. Yes.
But as I was editing and she screamed, I went, that's my cliffhanger. That is my cliffhanger. So episode 1 of season 3 is actually supposed to be the season 2 finale.
Yeah, I remember you changed it the last one.
And that was just one of those things where the actor's performance.
Yep, I agree with that.
Nothing against the actors in
right. The original, whatever.
At the original ending. Yeah. When I look at it, I'm like, ooh, the new season premiere ending is a good ending for when there's a next episode. But the episode we ended on, that was a season finale kind of cliffhanger.
And we, as producers, you put that hat on, we have to make decisions like that all the time. Mm-hmm. People will tell you there's been times where I've rewritten a scene while we're filming. None of this sounds right. Give me a second. I'll go off to the side. I'll give you a side, a little behind the scenes, folks, too. On Studio City, during one of my scenes with Sean's character, Sam, because I'm just a mean ass bitch to him. And it's just so, and I love Sean to death, and I'm not like this normally. So I was a total bitch to him. We did the first take, and the director goes, "There's something missing." Not from me, but from goes, "James, you're doing really good." It's Sean, and he literally said, "With a pivot, give me a second." Turned away from me, wrote something down. He does this. Okay, I'm ready, and comes out with brilliance. The next take in two takes. It was like, well, I was like, "What did you just do there?" It was crazy. So it's like as producers, as directors, we have to make decisions sometimes on the fly or right before or right after and go, we got to do this over, or I want to switch it up, or I'm going to make the season end or the episode end here. I've done it before too. I had a couple, they became the next season. It's like, okay, now we're ahead of the game. Now episodes exactly 3 are written for next season. I had a couple shows that were like that. I was like, I want to end it here. I think right now, the whole season as a whole, this actually is a good stop right here. This is a good stopping point. And now, I understand that.
Redid scenes as I'm editing. I will swap lines. I'm just like, no, it flows better this way. But I think now what's helping us too is when I tell people I say it like this, bring your flavor to it. Bring the flavor that is you, that makes, you so wonderful. Find a way to channel that into the character. I do that a lot with Mia. Mia will do something. I'm like, Mia, girl, I know you got a little spicy or a little extra flavor there. Do it how you would do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. Like she gets all giddy and excited. I'm just like, girl, just let it flow.
Yes, I have an actor who stands up, and I record
Okay.
because like he's like, okay, I'm ready. He stands up, the microphone's in front of him. He's just like, okay, let's get in. And he's really good. He gets into it. My boy Ant. He gets into it. He's just like, I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the scene. And I said, oh, I kind of get what you're saying because you're like, you're ready to dive in. You're ready to literally dive in. So I think whatever works for the actors, that's fine. So before we go, I got to mention Old Cove. So what's going on with Old Cove these days?
We are in production. Old Cove's going a little bit slower than Tomorrow's New Day,
Yes.
but we think of Old Cove more as like our primetime spinoff.
Okay.
Whereas Tomorrow's New Day really leans into the soap opera elements. With Old Cove, we want that more like Melrose Place feel, is what we always, because Melrose Place is my first primetime favorite show ever. I remember one time as a kid, I found a VHS that was like Melrose episodes. I was like, good Lord, I loved this show a long time ago. And I was like, Mom, why did your 5-year-old have a 7-year-old tape of Melrose? She's like, you liked the show. We watched it with
So
you.
funny. Yeah.
Because my grandma, my nana, and my mom have always been big soap opera fans as well. So that's where my love for them come. And that's why when I'm doing these, I always think of like them. I always wanted to create something that we could share, kind of, because that was something we shared with soaps. No matter what vacation or trip we were on, if we're just going to Walmart together, someone would probably be like, did you see what that crazy thing that happened on Days today? Can you believe Nicole, or Sammy did, and those are some of my fondest memories. And that's why when I look at soaps, or Tomorrow's New Day and Old Cove, I'm honoring that memory and the love that I have for soaps.
Yeah. Same here on my stuff too.
You need to be creative. But Old Cove, new episodes are coming slowly, but surely. And I will say the storylines we've got, oh my gosh, I'm ready to jump to season 3 because the idea that it's going to stem from season 2. Oh my God. It's going to be so much fun.
Well, folks, Tomorrow's a New Day, Old Cove, Queer Soaps, you say them to Queer Soaps. All those are on all your audio streaming service platforms. So go ahead and check those out wherever you get your audio streaming. Like this show, we're on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all over the place. So just type in those titles. You'll find them. Thank you, Aaron, for being on the show and doing some pride talk and content talk with me. Thank you.
And before June 5th is the season premiere. And I was a little narcissistic with that premiere because that's my birthday. And I was like, I want to release at least one episode on my birthday. My birthday fell on a Wednesday. The show, we started January 5th. I love the number 5.
Yes.
I mean, we started January 5th because all my children premiered on January 5th. And that was like me on. If you look at a lot of things in my shows, you'll see soap opera elements. Like if you're like, oh, wow, Governor Manning, that name sounds familiar. There's a reason it sounds familiar because it's Carly Manning.
Yeah. Yes.
So, but that was one reason.
Well, I understand June 5th because that is my 9-year anniversary of my show, the Super Organizer Show with James Lott Jr. So I like 5s also.
I do too.
February 5th, June 5th, those are big things for me. So just that same way. So June 5th, a big one, folks. Listen to watch my anniversary show and then listen to Tomorrow's New Day where I'll be on that too. So James
y'all got some fun stuff coming up.
Yes. See, folks. You gotta check it out. Tomorrow's a New Day is the audio drama. This show, like I said, this is Pride Month. My last words are always there's a room for everyone to be who they are in this world. And there's a lot, especially in the creative arts world, that are queer and queer friendly and queer adjacent. Support them. Support the arts in schools. I say that all the time. It's been proven that it helps with math, sciences, English, history, and mental health and well-being. Support, it's all bring it all together. Support queer artists out there who are doing indie artists who are doing music or painting or dancing or singing or audio dramas or acting, anything they're doing. Support them. Look around; they're all around you. You can Google many of them. Go on social media and find them. Go through us and find them.
Gonna say I follow queer artists like
Me too.
crazy. That's why when people thought there was some beef between me and some other people, I was just like, I'm not beefing. I want to support the other queer artists out there because no one else is supporting us.
Exactly, and we do like the queer book podcast and queer. So there's a lot that are we're all friends. We're all friendly. We're all friends. Everybody's just out there doing their thing. But support queer artists not just in June, but all year long. I'm James Lott Jr. and you can find me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. I've been saying that for 10 years, and it's true. I also have a Patreon, James Lott Jr. He has a Patreon. Tell your Patreon.
Right now, it's called Old Cove Unplugged.
Check that out. Go check that out. You
It,
can
yeah,
all but Patreon though. Right now, what you can do is you can go and first, like I always say, sign up for free
yes.
at first, and then you have it, and then peruse his channel and pick a tier and pick that tier. So stay with me too. Go and you can pick, but you should follow us. Just go ahead and follow us first, Lisa. And that's a free button. Then when you have a chance to go in, like on the first when you get paid, then you go ahead and on the 15th, and you go ahead and you start subscribing to one of us or both of us on Patreon. That's how we do that. I'll talk to you guys next time, our next episode of Extra Connections Pride Talk or Extra Connections Race Talk. See you next time.